be able to move to the next level or move on or deal with it or whatever. But my son was convinced that if he would have seen him, he wouldn't have shot him. Yeah. And I am not 100% sure that to be the case at all. I think if he would have saw him, he'd have been dead. Because I don't think he would have saw his face. He would only saw his body moving.
Right. That's got to be a hard thing to reconcile as a parent as well.
What's that?
That could have happened. I mean,
especially. Oh. I'll tell you another thing that I remember from that day so very vividly. It was nighttime. 8 o'clock at night, 7:45, 8:30, I don't know, sometime it was nighttime. And I got a phone call from the people at Jefferson County Schools checking up on me, making sure that, and I'm sure they were doing head counts, I'm sure it had nothing to do with me, but they wanted to make sure that I had connected with my student and that I was okay. Were they okay? Everybody was okay. I've got to tell you, I thanked that person for being at work that late, they stayed, I don't know how late they stayed that night, maybe all night, calling every family, making sure every family had found their kid or whatever. I mean, I was so touched and so thankful for that. I remember that to this day. I don't even know who the person was that called me, but I really appreciated that phone call more than you know.
Is there any...
I guess I never told anyone at Jeffco that, and they should probably know that because that was very impactful.
It definitely seems like you guys had a really strong sense of community. How do you think that played into recovery?
It was amazing. It was huge. It was incredible. I believe that without our community, that we wouldn't be where we are today. I think that it's a very close-knit community out there anyway. There are 3 high schools out there, Dakota Ridge, Chatfield, and Columbine. And though they're rivals, many, many, many of the kids are such good friends. And when the chips are down, let me tell you, they are there for each other. It is an amazing community. I have never seen anything like it. People used to come into our school, substitute teachers would come into our school, and they would say, "This is such an amazing school. Your kids are so polite. Your kids are so kind." I was just kind of shocked at the way that the subs would come in and talk about how our school was so great. And I knew our school was great. Believe me, I knew our school was great. But it was shocking to me the number of people that would come in for meetings or whatever and talk about how amazing the school was. And without our community partners and our surrounding principals and our other, the business community at large, I don't think that we would have healed nearly as well as we did, because everyone wanted to help each other. It's just such a loving community out there.
Absolutely. You actually just, sort of jogged something in my head, and I actually have had conversations with Frank about this. Columbine, of course, wasn't the first, but it was the one that people perceived to be the first, and, really sort of made this long-lasting cultural impact. And I can remember, seeing other coverage of other shootings. Aurora was called Columbine at a movie theater, and everything's constantly referred back to Columbine. How do you think that impacts recovery when there's this constant rehashing of what happened back in 1999?
It's very maddening. It's very maddening that every single thing gets compared to Columbine, because who's there to report all the great things that are going on at Columbine? There are so many wonderful, awesome, absolutely amazing things going on in that school that are not related to shootings in any way. And who's there to report out on those? All people think of as Columbine is this place of shootings. And we would have people come to the school, and I don't know if Frank shared this with you, but we would have people come to the school. They just wanted to come in and take a tour of the building.
Yeah.
We had to ban cameras. We had to, when Frank would do interviews, it would always have to be after school when kids were gone. Nobody could come in during the school day. But I remember this one time, there was 2 Amish couples that came, and it was such an amazing help when the memorial was built over at Clinton Park, because there was actually a place to be able to send people to reflect. But these two Amish couples came in, and they were standing in front of the office. And you know how you see them on TV, and they're just kind of pacing back and forth, pacing back and forth, pacing back and forth?
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what these people were like. Made me just laugh. And I finally went outside to ask them if I could help them, and I honestly don't even know what they said. I can't remember what they said. But I was so happy that I was able to direct them over to the memorial, because that was huge. That's just huge to be able to say to people, well, you know, we're in class, we don't allow tours, we're a school, and but there's a beautiful memorial over at Clement Park, and it's located right here. You can get here by doing this, and it was just such a relief to be able to tell people they had some place to go instead of just saying, no, you can't come in, and having them be mad.
Right.
Because people would get really offended. This is a public building. Yeah, it is, but it's a school building, and we're in class, and we don't just do tours. It's not a museum, you know?
Right.
And still to this day, one of the things that upsets us, and I think it upsets our entire community, I speak for the community when I say this, when there are looky-loos. People, right after the shootings, there was like the vacation guide where when you go here, you need to see this, and you need to see this, and you need to see this. Columbine High School was listed on the must-sees in this vacation guide back in the day. And literally busloads of tourists would come into the parking lot and take pictures, go out on the street by the sign where it says Columbine Rebels and take their pictures. And that happens still today. People drive through, and you can just tell, because they'll drive up in the parking lot, they'll stop, they'll look around, they'll get out, they'll take a picture of the marquee, and they'll drive off. All they want is a picture of Columbine High School. And I have to tell you, that is probably the thing that is the most upsetting. And one day when I left work, there was two, like, minivan, church vans, 15-passenger vans or whatever they are, full of middle school students that pulled into the parking lot. And I'm trying to figure out what can we do for these people. So I finally said to the man, I'm really sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but I just need to know, why do you feel like you need to be here? Well, this was just such a powerful event. It really affected everybody, and we just wanted to come here and pray. And I will tell you that we appreciate prayers more than you can know, but you don't have to be at our school to pray for us.
Right.
You don't need to be right here praying for us. Your prayers are heard wherever you are, if that's what you believe. You don't have to be here praying for us where it upsets us so much. And I don't know how to say that without sounding rude, because I don't mean for it to sound rude, but it's very, very offensive, and maybe it's just a reminder. Maybe it's just one of those things that's, my son said to me one time, Mom, what do they think, we're a bunch of freaks?
Yeah.
I said, I don't know what they think. I would really love to know what they think. So I asked this question trying to understand what are you looking for? What could we provide? Maybe we could provide something that would make these people not feel the need to be at our school. And I don't know, I still don't know what that would be. There are now movies out there, some that are accurate, some that are not. Frank told me that the book Columbine by Dave Cullen, he got that book because he gets all the books, and he let me read it, and he said it's hard. It was probably the hardest thing I've ever read in my life, but it was also the most accurate thing I've read in my life. He didn't publish that book for many, many years after, because he did his homework and he published truth.
Right.
He didn't speculate, he didn't make up characters, he published truth. And if there was just something that we knew we could do that would help people not feel the need to be looky-loos, curiosity, whatever, I would like to provide that to them so that it could give us peace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not that we don't want them to have whatever their needs are. We want to provide those needs for them so we can all have peace.
Right.
That makes perfect sense.
One thing that I actually thought about that you mentioned a little bit earlier was about the memorial, and I personally have been there several times, and it's a beautiful spot, a beautiful space. How do you think, because I've talked to some other people, like Aurora doesn't have a permanent memorial yet. I'm actually from Orlando, and they're in the process of trying to determine how they're going to establish theirs. How is the memorial helpful for your community?